Every child needs a lawyer, not in a courtroom, but in their childhood. Someone who says, hold on, hear them out. That's not the full story, or they're trying their best. Today I'm going to coin a term. It's called the child's first lawyer or child's first champion. And if you didn't have one, this video might explain a lot. So a child's first lawyer is the first person who defends them when they can't defend themselves. When you're a kid, you're reacting to the world. People are telling you, hey, we're going to the store. Stop doing that. Why would you do that? What were you thinking? You don't control much. You're just more so reacting. You're in a reactive state, right? And it's very hard to learn when you do so. When you're reacting to everything, it's kind of hard to identify a resting period to where you can tell your body and your brain to, hey, relax what we're doing. This is a safe space. This is okay. You can rest here. You can breathe here, right? You didn't always have that language to understand. You couldn't even understand your own emotions yet. And when something happens, let's say when you're the age to go to school, when you mess up, or when you're just being a child, because children's in their own natural state is to play, to laugh, and to experience, right? And when you mess up at school, you're labeled the class clown. You get isolated and identified and isolated out, right? And in my, I can only speak from my personal experience, but when that happened to me, I wasn't just afraid of getting isolated and feeling like I did something wrong, but it's essentially because I was relatively afraid of the punishment, really. Like when you're a kid, you're like, oh crap, I gotta go home soon. Like I gotta go home and deal with these consequences, kind of. And you spend that time, you spend the rest of your day at school, at least I did, punishing yourself before anyone else even had the opportunity to do so. And there's this quote that I heard as an adult, but I mean, like, obviously, well, I guess for most quotes that we cherish and hold close to our hearts, you would get the most out of it if you heard it sooner. But it says, he who worries suffers twice. And that's what childhood anxiety kind of felt like. I was punishing myself at school. Like, why would I do that? Why would I have to kind of defend myself I had to prepare for my case, so to speak, before I even had it. And my first lawyer, from personal experience again, my first lawyer was my grandmother. I called her Mom. My mother had me when she was 15, so basically my grandma just decided, she was like, hey, just say Mom twice, right? And that stuck from there. But when I got in trouble, and to be completely transparent and honest, I was the class clown. But also because I was funny as shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, you expect me to sit there and not say these funny ass jokes I'm making up? I'm just saying. But yeah, also, like, I was known as the class clown. I was known for daydreaming. I remember specifically my first, I think it was my first or my third, one of the two. Watch it be my second. But my first and my third grade teacher was telling my parents, both of them, on the event that when my father could come to the meetings, but he said, or she said, he's daydreaming a lot. He doesn't seem much interested. And I wasn't necessarily interested because the only subject that really on a consistent basis interested me was vocabulary. And I kind of hang that up to vocabulary being most interested because, and I say this in hindsight as well, but it was helping me relate to others. I was finding new ways to be empathetic and relay my emotions to others. So that's why I studied so vigilantly and diligently in vocabulary, because I wanted to help bridge the gap between myself and others. But yeah, they would say things like, hey, he's not applying himself, or he's messing around. And a lot of the times my mom would just be like, hey, what's going on with this or whatever, or sometimes because she was dealing with stress too as well, you know, in hindsight, it's 2020. But my grandmother would say, hold on, hear him out. She would calm my mom down as well. She would talk me up. She would remind everyone that I wasn't a bad kid. I was just simply a kid. And when that perspective was shown to me, that sort of love and that empathy was exposed to me, for the first time in my life, I realized that this game of life was cooperative. It was a co-op game. I didn't really feel like I was solely just against me versus the world. I felt like someone was on my side, not against me, not disciplining me first, not assuming the worst on me, but on my side. And that's what builds loyalty. Literally, my mom, she's my favorite woman on this planet. That built safety. That built identity for me. And I empathize and I sympathize with the children who did not have a lawyer growing up. When a child has no lawyer, they become their own prosecutor. They become, when they grow up, they start over explaining themselves. They people please. They overachieve to earn love. Or they can shut down emotionally as well. Some cases, they can become hyper independent. I think I've been guilty for a majority of most of these things. Because no one ever told them, wait, let me defend you. When you have a childhood lawyer, you learn that you're not crazy. You learn that you're not alone. You learn that your feelings matter and that they're valid. You learn that you deserve to be heard. It's like leaving your warm bed in the winter, but like the world kind of feels cold. Have you ever done that before when you wake up really early and the world feels cold, but you've been snuggled in that position in for a few hours, so that's your warm spot, right? That's your warm spot. You feel like the world is cold, but you have someone in your corner that carry that warmth with you. That's powerful. Keep it. My kids coin it as their warm spot. When I gotta wake my daughter up for school, she's like, I don't want to leave my warm spot. And I'm like, well, and that's how that felt. Me being comfortable with myself as a child, I was my own warm spot. But then my grandmother would help me not feel as crazy, and she would say, I'm not alone. She would help me feel like, she would help me learn that I wasn't crazy, that I wasn't alone, that my feelings matter, and that I deserve to be heard. That warmth, it's like, it was powerful, and I kept it. And as a father, I think of it as, am I my kid's first lawyer? When they mess up, do I discipline first or do I listen first? And that line hits. That it I think I pride myself in listening. I pride myself in being that safe space. I wasn't always that person. I had to learn those things. But if you had a childhood lawyer, thank them. And if you didn't, become one yourself. Like one of my other videos, reparent yourself, right? Speak to that younger version of you and say, I hear you. You weren't crazy. You were just a kid. And if you're a parent right now, please, I implore you, be the champion that you needed. I thank you guys for being here. We are in double digits now. This is episode 11. In Thrive and Peak, we're climbing. We're just climbing. And this is only the beginning. We're just getting started. I want to express gratitude and appreciation for every single one of you guys that have been here. I'm learning as well, but also I'm teaching now. So I'm very grateful and very humbled to be here. This has been Thrive and Peak, and keep on climbing.